Hey, folks, Rick Berube here on this lovely, what is today? Tuesday. Another Facebook Live. All right. We are very lucky today to have from Prosperity Mortgage, Tracy King. Tracy, welcome to the
Thank you. So excited to be
show.
here today.
All right. Well, perfect. Start off by telling a little about yourself, how long you've been in the business, all that good stuff, please.
Well, so the question is, I take them off, right? That'll give you a trick of how long I've been in the business. So I've been doing this since 1994. I started out in the mortgage business in Northern California. I was straight out of college, started as a loan officer, and worked my way through all the different departments of lending. So I worked up there, managed, and as well as originated. And then I moved to Phoenix when the market took off. In 2004, New Year's Day in 2004, I moved and felt the boom coming up, had the fortunate opportunity to work in Las Vegas during that time as well. So if you remember back in the days when the buses would come into Las Vegas back then and everybody would buy and purchase properties off lotteries, that was my time that I started working in the Las Vegas market. Did that for a few years. And then when we had the market changes, I took a position with Wells Fargo that I've worked in for the last 10 years on handling all their unique properties and unique scenarios. Uh, Back in the day, short sales was one of them. If you go back to your 2009 market, so you maybe saw me on a stage somewhere in Nevada, educating realtors on how to sell properties in different markets. So that's really what my true love is education and how to sell properties and how to finance homeowners in changing markets. And then for the last 10 years, I'd have to say I've been calling Tim Wilson, who is our CEO, saying, when are you bringing prosperity to Arizona and Nevada? When are you bringing prosperity to Arizona and Nevada? I'd like to come aboard. And last year I got my wish with the changes, and we brought prosperity board, and I came aboard with them. So I've been working down in Arizona, building up the offices with a great team that we have in Arizona. And now I've recently joined the Nevada fantastic team as well, taking on the regional position here. So super excited to be back, super excited to be here in a market where we can work with buyers. Buyers can purchase homes, find the home of their dreams, and actually be able to get a hold of it from those investors that were purchasing all of our properties. So
Okay.
really excited.
I love it. So, like myself, I've been doing this since '85. I did the same thing. I went to high school, college for 2 years, got my real estate license. I've been doing it ever since. It's my 38th year in real estate, and I've been coaching for like 25 of them. So I love the education part too. So we have a lot of common.
Yes.
You on the lending side, me on the real estate side. So, and that being said, now what do you? I mean, the tell us a little about some of the programs you offer. I think everybody, current interest rates, just giving us an idea, pre-approval versus, pre-commitment letter. Let's start off with some of the programs you guys have, just so they have an idea of what you guys are offering, which I think is great.
Well, the main thing that I wanted to talk to you about, actually, we're just here in Nevada. We just left Aldo's meeting, and the main topic is we travel from office to office to office. So I have the fortunate ability to go to all the different meetings, which I love. But the topic that's coming up again and again is, how do I help my buyers not worry about the interest rates so much, right? That's the topic that we see on the news. And that's what they're putting on the news, right? They want us to know that they're moving interest rates around because inflation's high, and they want to do everything that they can to curb inflation. But the reality is our interest rates really are great. And there's some opportunity there now that the market has lightened up a little bit for the sellers to help participate in our homeowners having more purchasing power. So the main topic that we're seeing in all the offices are our permanent buy down loans, where you can ask a seller to help participate in buying down the rate for your new buyer. And what we do at Prosperity is every listing that you have or any buyer that you're working with, we'll put a specialized flyer together for you on your property to show not only the lower payment, but the buying power your buyer will have. Whether they're doing a 0 point loan, they're doing a 1 point buy down, or they're doing a 2 point buy down. And I can tell you this morning when we were here, the agents were so excited that we are coming back tomorrow to do an additional class. So if you're in Nevada and you want to come over to the Southwest office tomorrow at 10, we're going to be talking about how to use that program to help your buyers purchase more home and have a lower payment. So that's probably your very top of mind out there in the industry. And then we can talk a little bit about our pre-approvals as well, which have been there and are second to none, I would tell
Nice.
you.
So let's give a
So,
little example. Like, okay, so someone out there listening, okay, so what's a buy down? How does that exactly work?
right. So an example would be, let's just talk about this customer that we're working with right now. She's relocating from Philadelphia to Arizona, and this is her first home. She's going to raise her family there. She and her husband, they're going to live there for the long term. They know that they're going to have expenses coming up and they want to keep their payment as low as possible. And there's some payment shock there going from renting to owning for her. So we were able to, when we wrote the contract, ask for closing costs. And that was an option to lower the payment down. You can do up to anywhere when you run the numbers every day, it's a little bit different but anywhere up to a half or 0.75%, which could lower that rate down, that payment down hundreds of dollars for that customer permanently for them. That really makes it easy for them. And it's about 3 times. So if you look at what if I dropped my listing price? The numbers equal out about 3 times benefit to the buyer if you did it in rate buy down versus just in lowering the purchase price.
Right. So you're saying that I could buy down my rate half to 0.75%, and the seller could buy that down for me as part of their seller contribution towards the closing.
Yep. And it's going to help your buyer far more than just lowering the purchase price.
Right.
So if you're going to lower a purchase price, say you're having some competition and you want to lower a purchase price from 600 to 590 or from 500 to 490, I would say let's look at giving 2% to the buyer on closing costs. Let's give on that 500,000, let's give that 10,000 to the buyer versus lowering the price because it's far more advantageous for them.
So leave the price at 500, buy the rate down.
Leave it at 500. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
Makes
going to
sense.
make a huge impact for your buyer.
Yeah. And they get their rate down half to 0.75%, which is really good over the course of 30 years.
It is. It's 3 times the benefit than if you had just lowered the price for your buyer.
Great. That's a great way to
So,
market properties. It actually it's a double-edged sword in a good way. It helps the sellers get their property,
right.
help them stand out, and it also helps the buyer coming in when we're spoiled for so long with 3% rates or 3.25%.
Right. And our sellers have the money to do that. And it keeps the market where it should be. We don't want to continue to just drop prices because we want to keep the market as steady as we can. So if you can sell the home while keeping your prices higher, that's better for everybody as well. Your neighbors will like you more.
Yeah, you don't want your neighbors getting mad at you
No.
for having bad comps. All right, cool. So that is a tremendous benefit when I'm listing my property. I can buy the rate down and I can advertise that. Or if I'm a buyer, I know that going in where I can get the rate. What is the 30-year fixed right now?
So we're looking at that this morning. Depending on the program that you pick, you're right anywhere from the low to the mid fives.
Okay.
So if I looked at a 30-year fix today that we pulled this morning, we were at 5.5. 15-year fix, we were down in the high fours, 4.875. VA 4.75. So rates are really good still
Good.
right now.
And let's say I even went with the 5.5. If I was to buy down my rate by with 2% right now, what would that get me?
You'd be looking right about 5% on that.
Okay.
So maybe
Okay.
even a
Good.
little less.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. That would be great. So that's a really good program, and that really helps a lot of people out in today's market. And like you said, it's better to buy the rate down than it is to lower the price. I agree 100%.
Right. Right. And the great news is if you heard back in the day, if you've been in here a long time, people talked about those years ago as 2-1 buy down, where you bought it down for the first couple years. What we're recommending is that you buy it down for the entire time.
Right.
Because back in the day, when you had a 2-1 buy down, those you would qualify at that lower rate. Well, now that's changed. So you need to buy it down permanently to qualify at that lower rate. But the homeowners that are taking advantage of that are really coming out happy. They're getting a great interest rate and it's making a big difference. So that's probably our number one topic. And again, if you want to learn more about it, I would encourage you to come to the Southwest office tomorrow at 10 if you're in Nevada. And then we've been doing quite a bit of classes on this in Arizona, and we can set up another one centrally located, but talk to any of your loan officers down there. And we'll create flyers on the property specific to your property with that rate with the buy down.
Good. And also,
So
um,
can you hear the group back here in my background? That's probably everybody here in the office cheering about
oh, good. I love it. Perfect. 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 Okay. Cool. All right. So now we have a good understanding of the buy down and how that works. Tell us a little about the pre-approval or pre-commitment process. It sounds like you guys are more into the pre-commitment process, which I think is better. Tell us a little about that too,
it.
Tracy.
Well, so what we're a purchase lender. So what we want to make sure is that being a purchase lender and we live in the real estate offices, right? So we want to make sure that any buyer that we're working with, we can give you all of the information, the good information, the bad information, the ugly information right away. So we encourage our borrowers to become completely pre-approved with us. And what I tell a customer is there are different phases towards being pre-approved. The first one is we have a conversation and generally learn what you're doing, and then we pull your credit. That is where most lenders stop. And the reason most lenders stop there is because most lenders out there, they can't even lock a rate until a customer's found a property address. So they give them a pre-qual letter, they quote them a rate, and they say, come back and let me know once you find a property, and then we'll lock your rate. With us, that's a little bit different. So, on all of your traditional conforming VA, FHA, we encourage them to get the loan side of it out of the way prior to finding a property. So, what we encourage them to do is to go through the entire process. Go ahead, let's fill out the application together. Then we've pulled their credit. We collect their income docs. If they are salaried with any large company, it's really easy. We can link to those companies and collect the income information on our own. If they are with a large banking financial institution, we can link and collect all that information as well. So it's really easy. And we'll put them through underwriting, which actually does, like you said, Rick, you use that word, it gives them the loan commitment. So then it shows we're committed to that loan, subject to them finding a property. And we even have the ability for them to lock that rate then if they elect to. So they can lock the rate when they're shopping, or they can lock the rate once they found a home. They have the choice either way with us. But what we like to know confidently, especially with gas prices, the way that they are, our agents are taking these buyers out and they're looking at homes for hours, and there are many homes for them to see. We want to make sure that the person that they're driving around is fully qualified, and we call that our buyer's advantage program. So that buyer has the advantage that once they write that offer, they know they're fully approved with us.
Right. And you guys even have a guarantee on top of that too, don't you?
We do. So when you have that program in place, we have a seller guarantee that we can put into place showing that we can close on time. And that's a $10,000 seller guarantee that we do.
Right. I love that. It gives them the security they need, and it helps them in your negotiating power if you have that
Absolutely.
with the, with your,
Absolutely.
right, with your,
Because it is, it used to be something where, and this is a service that we provide, and I strongly suggest to everybody to do so, that when we have an agent that's working with us and they're writing an offer, we'll call the listing agent with their permission and let them know a little bit about the pre-approval and the work that we've done. And now what I'm starting to find is those listing agents are starting to call us because many of the offers that are coming now that are attractive are financing offers. And so they're calling the lender and they're asking, so tell me what you've done so far. Tell me how far they are in the process. Do you have their down payment funds? I've been asked all those questions the last couple weeks by listing agents that are calling us. And it's a great thing to say, that's our standard process. We want to make sure that before they write an offer on your property, we've seen their assets and we've looked at all of that and they're golden. So
so that if there's a few offers, that could move them to the front of the line, which is also important, and you want to help it with your negotiating power as well. So it's all really good
absolutely.
stuff. I just love that Prosperity. Obviously, we're corporate owned, Berkshire Hathaway now. So is Prosperity. I love it. It's such a great working relationship. We have the same goal, along with is in Nevada Equity Title and Orange Coast and wherever, depending on where we are. We have the same goal even with our escrow and our title. So we have a really good. I think we have a really good harmonious relationship. You mentioned
Right. And we just launched in Arizona, we launched Agave,
agave.
which if you haven't met, they're doing a fabulous job getting started and launching. So we have the partnerships now in all the different states. And so it's really going well. So
Yep. It's really going well, which is a benefit to all the consumers, whether you're a seller or a buyer, and all that good stuff. All right, we're almost on time here, but just give us an idea. Is there anything else about Prosperity that you'd like to mention that you think they should know that would be valuable to them?
well, so what I would recommend, and one of the things that I find so exciting is talking to our loan officers here, and I have been with Prosperity now since October. But some of our team, they're very tenured and they've been in the business a long time and they're experts. And I've asked them, so tell me, how is Prosperity different than the other lenders that you worked with before? And what I love to see is, and I've asked that, here I am in Nevada, I've asked that of Eddie and John and Karen and Liestra and Dee. And then in Arizona, working with, we've brought Cassie aboard and Roy and Ashley and Sergio. So tell me the difference. And what they tell me time and time again is this is the best company that we've worked with. And some of them have been through, like they've been here for a long time. And I know John was on your show talking about the changes. And they say, this is the best company we've ever worked with. And the reason for that is because we're a purchase lender. This company was built for
Right.
purchases. We run it for purchases. And so when you get into a market like today, the way we do our appraisals, having our own appraisal panel, the way that we do our guarantees, the way that our file flow goes, everything is set up to handle a purchase transaction.
Right.
And we compete to win. So with our $2,000 guarantee, we compete to win every purchase transaction that we can. And that benefits your buyers. So that's what I would say to us as in a tough market, in challenging times where lenders are changing, uh, we are one of the best ones out there at handling purchases year over year.
No doubt.
So,
Yeah, I
and
know
can
you guys have done. You guys have rescued at least. I mean, that I can think off the top of my head, 4 or 5 transactions, and it's one. I think it's wonderful that you guys have come in and people were getting commitment letters, went into the process, got denied. You guys came in, fixed it, and closed it. And every time I hear that, I always think that's great that they came and fixed one. Now give them a couple from the beginning so they don't have to come in
right.
and fix it.
Right. And that is just a testament to our teamwork. Our programs will compete and win, and I would tell you we don't have the secret sauce, we have the secret people.
Right.
We work together as a team. Our underwriters, our processors are phenomenal. And when you bring in a transaction with us, we all sit down. And some of those at the other lenders, they just really didn't take the time to sit down and figure out a way to make it work.
Right.
And if there's a way to sit down together and figure out a way to make it work, you have the expertise here in your offices and behind the scenes working hard to do that for you.
Right.
So,
It's like when companies like big banks, they do so many things that if they lose a mortgage, not the end of the world because they're gigantic, right? Like where the
correct.
extra came from, no names mentioned. So when you guys, this is your focus, so it's obviously going to be a whole different gig,
Yes.
right? So I appreciate
So,
that.
so when it came out, there was a slogan, and I wrote this down, and I would follow it all day long, saying, "We were built for this market. We were built to help the agents navigate through this market, and this is our market where buyers are needing to compete, buyers are purchasing, they have the power, and we're here ready to support them." So.
All right. Well, Tracy, I want to say thank you very much for taking your time out today. This was completely helpful, and hopefully you enjoyed it.
Oh no, it was so much fun. And I would encourage you to, if you have not spoken to one of our mortgage consultants in your offices, go up and say hi and reach out. We're doing our best to reach out to each and every one of you to set appointments to let you know what we're doing today. This market's changing quickly, but feel free to reach out as well. So we're here to partner together with you.
Yeah.
Uh, we
And
are stronger together.
I agree, and I agree. It's the people. You got to have the programs and everything too, but without the people, you guys have some dynamite people. I can only attest for John because I've used John several times. John Ingram, he's incredibly good, knowledgeable, knows what to do. I know we have several others. Everybody from Arizona, Nevada, and California. So great job, Tracy. Keep it rolling. Everybody
Thank
else,
you.
we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you, Tracy. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you. Thanks, Rick.
All right, see ya.
Bye.